Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 295 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on March 3rd, 2026. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, I hope you're doing well. Things are good here. A lot of great testing and analysis continues to happen, and I think it's going to be a really neat year. Yeah. Speaking of testing and analysis, new publication for you today. That's right. The Inert Haze Dreyse 30. On 308 bolt action. It will be published with today's episode. You may remember Inert Haze from their pistol silencer we examined a couple years back in report 6145. That was the TIP or the tip or whatever, however you say it. Titanium pistol silencer, not too long, not too short, did pretty well. Cool silencer. Today you're going to see their Dreyse 30, which is named after the inventor of the first breech-loading bolt-action rifle. Yeah, Johann Nicholas von Dreyse. He's a German guy. Yeah, those Germans, tell you what, they do good stuff throughout history. They really do. So we'll give an intro to that silencer on today's episode. And also, we got some really great user feedback on our Mark 23 Knights Armament and B&T study. And there were a few common questions about that or the subject at hand. And so I'll do my best to address those on this episode as well. So this episode should be much quicker than last episode. Boy, man, if you didn't get a chance to tune in to episode 294 and you're a Mark 23 and Knights fan, boy, that's 2 hours of ridiculous detail for you. So go check that out if you like. Let's get on with the show. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new, oh man, so glad to have you. You're going to learn about silencers. And just so you know, there are timestamps in the episode description wherever you are listening. So you can skip to wherever you would like. Okay? I'm going to tell you about the people that make this podcast possible. The first is Legion Athletics, because nothing you do is worth doing without consistency. And Legion Athletics can help you with that. They don't have everything you need, but they have a lot of it. Whey protein, pre-workout, post-workout, creatine, vitamins, minerals, all kinds of supplements to enhance what you're doing. And one thing that's really important is if you are a drug-tested athlete, nothing you take from them is going to mess up your drug tests, which is really great. Okay, it's important to play clean and play true if you are a believer in drug-free strength sport and other types of sports in which you're drug tested. They respect that, and you shouldn't have a problem. Visit legionathletics.com. You can get money back and save a lot of money by using the code word PewScience. That's right, 20% cash back every time you use it in the form of points. I also buy one, get one 50% off of your entire shopping cart as well using that code, okay? Get strong. It's important. Also brought to you by Silencer Shop. Use their kiosk, do your fingerprints and photos electronically. You cut down on errors, simplify your silencer purchasing process. You get a money back guarantee. It's pretty good. You don't have any transfer errors transfer fees. You don't have any paperwork errors. Just you and your silencer with no drama. Truly, a silencer ownership simplified. Also, speaking of silencers, Top Gun Range Houston, go there. 15-lane indoor range. Use it. Love it. Talk with Kyle and his gang. Largest firearm rental fleet in the entire state of Texas. Talk about silencers. They're a PewScience supporting dealer. They know what's up. They live and breathe this stuff. TopGunRange.com. Also, Capital Armory, if you're into that shipping to your door type of thing, they do that. Also, they're like NFA junkies that have been in Central Texas doing this for a very long time. If you ever want to, just talk about silencers in like a really in-depth way, you can call up Capital Armory and talk to their people who actually know a lot about silencers. Yeah, they sell them, but they're actually into them. So I find that's pretty cool because they're genuine people, and that's really great. Capital Armory, silencer shipped directly to your door. Finally, this podcast is brought to you by the PewScience Laboratory. I'm the technical director of the lab, and I really like doing this stuff. And we've chosen to do this podcast all this time, all these years, because we want to give education to you. In addition to the stuff we publish on our website at pewscience.com, we have the Silencer Sound Standard. It's the simplest and most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressible alarms. There's 8 sections in the standard now. It's really the most in-depth and accurate silencer data analysis in the world. And it's all available to the public 24/7 on the website. So you can go and you can actually join and support PewScience with a membership at pewscience.com. That would really help. Keeps the lights on and and really keeps this thing going. And you get cool stuff like that crazy MK23 study that no one's ever done before. That was all because of you guys, which is cool. And you can, if you don't want to give a subscription, you can always donate one-time fee on the review page of the podcast page. And if you don't have any money and times are tough, you're down on your luck, that's okay. You don't have to give us any money. Just give the podcast a good rating on your favorite podcast provider and spread the word and let folks know that silencers and guns are awesome. It'll normalize the use of suppressed small arms eventually, I promise. 2 topics for you today. We'll do the Inert Haze Dreyse 30 in report 6215. Do the intro to that, and then we'll hit some MK23 questions because we can. So let's do topic 1 at a time of 5 minutes and 58 seconds. Okay, very good. Yeah, topic 1. Sound signature review 6215. The Inert Haze Dreyse 30 on 20-inch 308 bolt action. There's this question I have here. I was thinking, you have to ask yourself, do high-performance silencers have to be long and heavy? I think the answer is no, and you know that. And, we already saw the Precision Armament Titrix 300 a couple weeks back. Amazing, right? Now you're seeing this one, the Dreyse 30. Man, I think, this one's really light. It's not as long as you would think it would be for its performance. And I think it's really fitting into a competitive space in the rankings. So, I think it's neat. Silencers like this, we really do love when new bolt gun silencers come to market. Obviously everyone certainly likes it when they perform well, and it's cool when they give a little nod to history. Back in the 19th century, there was this rifle called the needle gun, and it was a breech loading rifle instead of a muzzle loader. So you could actually load it from the back instead of the front, right? You could put the cartridge in the chamber there, put the bolt in the chamber instead of down at the crown of the muzzle. It wasn't a muzzle loader, right? This is when they were making the transition. And it used a bolt handle to actuate an opening and closing of the chamber there. And this was called the Dreyse needle gun. And I think it was a needle gun because the firing pin was needle-shaped and everything. Anyway, it was invented by a German guy named Johann Nicholas von Dreyse. It was called a needle gun, again, because of the firing pin. I think he made muzzle loaders first, and then he made his bolt-action breech loader. And I think that's why the history books say that he's the guy that invented the bolt-action rifle, which I think is probably correct. As far as I know, it could be. I don't know. There's maybe some historians. I should talk to Ian at Forgotten Weapons. He and I talk sometimes. I should be like, "Hey man, is this right?" He would know. So why is all of this relevant? Well, the Inert Haze Dreyse 30 is a 30 caliber bolt action rifle silencer, and that's what it's for. And I like when things are named after their use cases. It helps you know what's going on. Now, could you put the Dreyse 30 on a semi-automatic weapon? Well, sure. It's a free country. Do whatever you want. But this is a bolt-action silencer, so maybe you do that. This is 8.8 ounces with no mount. Use the direct thread mount it comes with, and that brings it to 9.8 ounces because that little mount weighs an ounce. Do you want to use the mount it comes with? I mean, you don't have to, because it's the standard hub compatible rear end, so you don't have to use the mount it comes with. But I think you will want to if you want the same performance as showcased in the report. And this is because this silencer, like some other silencers that the designer at Inert Haze has worked on, has a special mount that jets initial muzzle blast radially to interface with internal features of the silencer. You may remember things like the TIP or the tip pistol silencer, and then the predecessor, the Resilient Suppressors RSP, and the Resilient Suppressors RS9, stuff like that. The designer from Inert Haze used to be part of Resilient. So a lot of his brain is in those products, and that design fingerprint. So that's some cool history there for you. Not old history, but recent history in the past few years. That will give you a little bit more window into the pedigree. And I think it's interesting how silencer pedigree and taxonomy it links together. That's one of the reasons Pew Science kind of supports this podcast, so we can kind of talk about it. We don't want to lose the history. The direct thread mount for the Dreyse 30 that comes with the silencer, it's recessed in that it does not add any extra length to the silencer. And this whole thing is like 8.19 inches long. So, call it 8.2 or 8, whatever you want. So with the mount, that's full length. And for the level of performance you get from this silencer, which you're going to see in the morning when this report is published, it's pretty good, I would say. And actually looking in our rankings and setting, if you're a Pew Science member and you go to the member rankings section and you look at the plot that you can filter and sort and all that stuff for length and weight, if you set the max length to 8.2 inches, I think, and the max weight to 9.8 ounces, I think this Dreyse 30 might be the highest performing thing with those limitations. Now, so the fact it's light and also not that long and still performs well, it means things are progressing in the space and we're moving forward and not backward. And this is not 3D printed, guys. This is a traditionally manufactured titanium tubeless silencer. That's cool. Not everything has to be 3D printed, right? So let me tell you, I think this is going to keep happening. I think things are advancing, and it's not only 3D printed stuff. There are people out here developing things and tweaking them, and the performance is simply getting higher, and that is good for everybody. The bar keeps getting raised, and that's great. I really do think that if you look at the Silencer Sound Standard and you start to go back in the history of some of these silencers, the high performances just tend to drop off as you go back in the date timeline. It is amazing how far we have come. We should do like a year. That's what we should do. We should make like a visual timeline infographic of like performance, like milestones. Oh, that would be so cool. Maybe we do that for like episode 300 or something. Oh, that might be cool. I'm thinking out loud. None of this could happen, so don't get your hopes up. Yeah, again, it's a good, but okay, back to this. Sorry. It is a good thing to mention that this silencer is traditionally manufactured. Titanium baffles, tubeless, fully welded, nice soft black finish. Ooh, nice classy end cap. Nothing crazy, nothing too flashy. Looks like a plain Jane silencer. Good for work. Good for work reasons. Super light, pretty quiet. Don't put it on a machine gun. It's not for that, but it's for slower firing schedules like a bolt-action rifle. Remember, hence the name, Dreyse 30. Remember, tribute to good old Johann. The Germans, man. The Germans. Now, another reason that this probably isn't an ideal semi-automatic silencer is due to its back pressure. Yeah, it's not meant to have a high flow rate, so it doesn't. Imagine that. Yeah, keep that in mind. As we have done and kept doing recently, the hazard map we have produced with this report, it will sit in hazard map brief 8.1.12. Can you imagine, or can you believe that we'll already have 12 little briefs in the section 8? Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. And this map is pretty neat, because it shows you the level of improvement you get when you step into the longer silencer range compared with the Precision Armament Titrix 300 that we published last month. So if you want, you can compare the hazard map in this Inert Haze report and then in brief 8.1.12 with the Precision Armament map in report 6.2.12 and then brief 8.1.9. And it's a good exercise. Excuse me. It's a good exercise for you to view the nuance between a very high-performance short silencer and a high-performance longer silencer that's like 2 inches longer, I think. Yeah, because I think like this one's 8.2. Wasn't the Titrix 300 like 6.2 or something like that? So it's like almost exactly 2 inches different. It's cool. And they're both super high performance. Like, the Titrix is like really, really high performance. So like, it's not like it's a linear scale because like you're looking at like two different technologies, but it is cool to look at how the map changes, and you know, and here's why. It's like you look at these, right, and you think to yourself, do you need to increase your length by 2 inches? Or are you good with the suppression you get from something like the Titrax? And only you can decide that, which is the beautiful thing, right? It's all up to you. We don't, we're not like those reviewer people who recommend things, right? No. We're giving you information, and you can use the information we give you to make your own decisions. That's the whole point of this. It's just the facts, with some commentary. Yeah. Only you can decide what you need, but hopefully the maps help you. And remember, use the maps with the dose chart. It is your key to the suppression rating. Okay, so check it out. We'll do a deep dive next episode. So that this Inert Haze Dreyse 30 on the 308 bolt gun, it will, in report 215, will be live at 0700 Central tomorrow for me, today for you. Okay, let's move into topic 2 at a time of 16 minutes. 18 seconds. Can we do a 20-minute podcast, please? It might be. It'll probably be like 25. Whatever. 1 second. Oh, man, sometimes you want to do a short one. That 2-hour one last week, that one got me, man. Topic 2, some great user feedback. Speaking of, some great user feedback and questions about the HK Mark 23 Knights and B&T study. That was a report 6214. I want to hit some of that feedback today, just like as general PSAs, like public service announcement, because whenever we get when we get the same question multiple times, I'm like, okay, I'm answering it. That means it was probably a good idea for me to answer it on a podcast because it's going to help a bunch of people, and that's the whole point, right? So, first of all, I want to thank you. There's a lot of feedback on this study, and I'm happy about that because that means it really got around, which is cool. Yeah, and a lot of people read it, or at least talked about it too, which is cool. If you know someone who could benefit from it and they haven't seen it, be sure to share it. And we got feedback from consumers and dealers and manufacturers, from people who had the Mark 23 in service as a choice when they were in the military. There are people that they either were issued it, or it was a little more complicated than that, or that they were able to use it as their choice in the armory there where they were working. That was cool. And some of them, they didn't use it a lot because they for whatever reason, sometimes it was too big for them, or they didn't like it, or whatever. But some people did. We also got feedback from the engineers at Knights, which was cool. Just not a lot of feedback, but we got some, and here and there. And I always get a kick out of it when silencer engineers read the reports, so that's cool. One thing I spoke about with some of you on social media was that the B&T silencer didn't have a provision for O-rings in a piston. And I am happy to report that has been corrected recently by B&T. Their new pistons that are available for their silencer now do have a provision for an internal O-ring. And those O-rings, I think, are red. If you contact B&T, they will swap out your piston to the one that can accommodate an O-ring. If you are a B&T Mark 23 silencer user and you are using a piston that does not have an O-ring, I encourage you to get one that does have an O-ring, because it will greatly improve your shooting experience. And by the way, this also goes for you USP 45 tactical users, because this silencer can also be used on the USP 45 tactical, and B&T, like Knights, has the USP 45 tactical 16x1 left-hand piston for that weapon. And remember, it's threaded differently, not just to match the thread on the gun, but to distinguish the different spring rates so you don't break your guns. One moment. For details on that, see last episode and the report and all that good stuff that we've already talked about a lot. Oh, yeah. So big thanks to the folks that let me know about that O-ring stuff on social media, and then the folks that also send me emails with photos of your new B&T silencer. pistons with the red O-ring in there. I was like, thanks, man. It was like a huge community effort, and everyone's learning from everyone, and that's really cool. That was like definitely a grassroots thing that we're spreading information, and that's what this is all about, right? Giving the best information we can to everybody. Speaking of the B&T Mark 23 silencer, got some feedback from B&T on that. Apparently, due to this report and the interest it generated, they will be, or they might be, let me be careful, they might be resuming production of these machined non-additive silencers. So Mark 23 users that have no silencers tuned and approved for your gun, have no fear. More B&T Mark 23 silencers are coming, at least of the latest information I have for you. I hope, maybe. So rejoice. And again, that goes for USP 45 tactical people too. On the Knights Armament side of things, and this is interesting, I guess what I can tell you publicly is that I encourage you to go to the Knights Armament website and look at the silencers they're currently showing. Look at, this is public, you can go to the website right now. Look at the 9mm silencers they're showing. It's like, that's interesting. Yeah, Knights is showing 9mm silencers on their website like right now. You're going to see 3 of them. They have, well, hold on. You know what? I looked the other day. Let me look now. Knights Armament. I'm going to, because I don't want to say that and then they have like 9 of them or something. Hold on a second. Signature reduction, suppressors, 9mm. Okay, there's 3. Yeah, okay. So there's 3 of them. You got the 900 DTS1, which is a direct thread 9mm silencer. Okay. You got 900 PDS1. That's Papa Delta Sierra PDS1, which is a pistol silencer. Huh. Yeah, 9mm pistol silencer from Knights. What? Yeah, that's right. And then the 900 DTS SD, which is an MP5 SD silencer. What? I know, dude. These are all Knights 3D printed 9mm silencers. I'm like, what? It has me pretty excited. And okay, for one, I have not been paying attention to Knights like at all. Like I haven't been paying attention to their new stuff because they keep coming out with these new rifle silencers. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like the CRS stuff we tested, it was loud. I'm like, okay, it's cool looking. And, I like Knight stuff. I love their mount. I love their ball bearing mount for the QDC. I think it's awesome, but like, it's just a personal interest, right? It's like, whatever. So I hadn't really been paying attention to a lot of their stuff. Then we did this Knights program for the Mark 23, and it got me kind of like thinking of pistol stuff, and I was like, oh. So anyway, I bring this up now because if this is my like crystal ball, if there is a 9mm pistol silencer on the Knights website right now, imagine the probability of a 45 ACP pistol silencer of the printed variety. Just imagine. I want to believe. Maybe you stock up on the size 015 O-rings. Mark 23 users, maybe you go to McMaster Car. Maybe you buy some. Okay. That's all I'm saying. We also got some questions about using other silencers on the Mark 23. And as I'm sure many of you have this question, I know I did. I would say you probably can use some other silencers on the gun. Whether or not it's a good idea is really hard to determine, frankly. And I know that's not an answer you want to hear, but I would actually like to do some actual R&D to help you determine if it's okay, but it is very expensive to do that, and we would, of course, be doing it completely with member funding. So, I mean, it's not that I don't want to do it, it's just that, like, that's a lot of money that we could use on other stuff. We'll see what we can do. I can tell you that some silencers have really high back pressure, some pistol silencers, and frankly, like just from shooting them, I would go another direction. Like, look, I'm not trying to like dog on anyone, but I got to name names because it's important. Like, for example, like Rugged Obsidian 45, dude, I personally own the regular Obsidian 45. I think we also have another one in lab inventory. So I have access to two of those, personal owned and a Pew Science Lab Obsidian 45. And those things are high back pressure. They spit things back in your face. The ejection port blast is not good. If it were me and I had an old school 45 silencer handy and I didn't have the B&T or the Knights, I would be going like Tyrant 45 from AAC. Now, that's a long silencer, but it's a silencer with a fantastic performance. Like, it really is. Like, and you'll see. We've tested it. You'll see. It's really good. Now, the Tyrant 45S, I think, got semi-official. I wouldn't say official, semi-official adoption for the Mark 24, wasn't it? So like the HK45 Compact Tactical, which is like whatever. I'm not into that really. I'm not into that gun really, but that's not the same gun as a Mark 23 or USP 45. So, and I don't know that I've seen official communication from HK about that being evaluated. I'm not saying it can't work, and because I haven't heard about folks breaking their pistols with the Tyrant 45 either. So I'm like, okay. One thing, but I will tell you, one thing I have consistently heard feedback about, like anecdotal, so this is from other users. One thing I've seen, like people have consistently told me that about when things break with high back pressure silencers on HK guns, and which means they could break any gun because HKs are really tough. Has been things like the Octane, like that old SWR stuff that was sold to Silencer Co. back in the, it's not, I was going to say back in the day. It's not even that long ago, but I guess you could say back in the day. You know, the Obsidian is just a derivative of the Octane, which is just a derivative of the Trident. You know that, right? It's like the same. It's like the same. Like when Joe gave the company to Henry and them, they just made those silencers. Like it's the same lineage. It's like it went right. It was Trident, Octane, Obsidian. Remember? Yeah, it's the same thing. Anyway, I mean, it's not the same. It's just like it's all high back pressure, and be careful. Now, and I'm not saying back pressure is breaking the gun. I'm saying when you have high back pressure like that, and you have a piston system tuned, it might not be tuned correctly for the gun. You just need to understand the timing of the whole system. And until I can get good kinematics data for all these different silencers on all these different guns, which I'm probably not going to do for you, like, because it's really expensive. Like, I can't really recommend anything, or not recommend, but I can't tell you like you're in the clear. Especially like considering to really understand the reliability and like the shock dynamics and the structural dynamics of the system, you'd have to put so much ammo through it as well. And you know what? Actually, if you have time, just as an aside, go. Grant Thumb has a video on the Mark 23 he just did like a few weeks ago or something. Maybe it was longer than that. Anyway, he has a really expensive high-speed camera. It's like a Phantom or something. It's like really, 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 really awesome. Anyway, he has his Mark 23 being fired with the B&T silencer and in slow motion. Very high. It's a high-speed video, and when you watch that high-speed video, you can see when it's a really good one because it shows the recoil cycle of the entire silencer and slide and barrel. But I want you to pay attention to, besides like when everything reaches end of travel and comes back, watch as when the silencer comes back toward the barrel and comes back to its position and it hits the piston, it'll bounce a couple times. And that's like every little thing like that matters. Every little thing like that matters because you're inducing shock waves into the steel. Ding, ding, ding. And where do you think that reaction is dumping to? That reaction is dumping into the locking lug. People have taken an HK45 Compact Tactical with an Octane and cracked their locking block. I'm just telling you. Okay? Like, There's a lot of things that can happen that we talked about last episode that you're not thinking about because you can't see it happen. But the more you guys understand the mechanics of these systems, the more you can mitigate damage to them and have a better time. Also, people talk about the Osprey, the Silencer Co. Osprey. Osprey. The way it looks is designed to look good on a USP. That's like kind of why it looks like the way it does. Anyway, thing about the Osprey, because people have asked about that, I want to tell you something about it, and we're going to test it. We haven't yet. Thing about the Osprey you got to think about, besides it, like the way it looks and stuff, is you got to be careful with the first round pop, because the sidewalls will flex during blast load impingement. Like when blast load goes into the silencer, the sidewalls are going to flex out. They're going to pull away from the internal monocore, and so the blast load can more easily propagate between the walls of the core and the tube. And when that propagation happens, you can burn more fuel in a longer chain. Therefore, you can get more FRP, and that is why the new Silencer Co. S98 is welded. Each baffle is welded together because they wanted to make another rectangular looking silencer, but the first round pop was not as great. Just anyway, haven't tested that either, but would love to. I don't like that. Not S98 looks cool, but I don't expect it to beat like the Mojave or beat the SC or anything. Like, no way. But it looks cool. Another question. Folks asked me, hey, would you go USP 45 tactical or would you go Mark 23 if you were picking between the two firearms? And man, I can tell you that's a really tough one because I struggle with that too a lot, and I own both of them. Like which one to use. So for me, I'm be real honest with you here. My opinion is really heavily colored by shooting them both. I 100% feel that the Mark 23 is a superior shooter. It feels better to shoot. I'm more accurate and precise with it. The sight picture's better. With a silencer, it's quieter and also feels better. But it's larger, and that does make a difference when you carry it, and I don't think you can forget about that. And also, like, if you don't have very large hands, maybe it's hard for you to hold it, I don't know. My advice to everybody that is trying to decide between a USP and a Mark 23 is go handle both. Like, at least go handle them both. Do not try to guess. You really need to put your hands on them. And you can do that. You can, trust me, you can find a gun store that has these. Like, eventually, you will find. You can certainly train to shoot the USP better, like just like I can, just like anyone can. So that shouldn't be a problem. My thing, and this is just like a personal proclivity, my thing with pistols is that I tend to gravitate toward the ones I naturally shoot better, like the P226, like versus the Glock 19 or Glock 17. Like Glock 19 and Glock 17 are really excellent weapons, right? No one is arguing against that. But like when I pick up a SIG P226 and I pick up a Glock, which one am I going to shoot better if I haven't been shooting them? Like, which one is naturally going to point better for me and shoot better for me? Dude, the SIG 100 times, like, it's always going to, and is that the same for you? I have no idea, but I know what it's like for me, and I know why I bought the P226 as my first gun I ever bought, because I shot Glocks and Berettas and SIGs next to each other and was like, wow, the SIG P226 is amazing. German engineering is awesome. Just like I said earlier this episode, the Germans, man. Germans are great. So, I tend to gravitate toward pistols I shoot better, just naturally, with the disclaimer that, of course, you could learn to shoot any of them good, or well. Now, the Mark 23, I gravitated toward that, like compared with like an FNX 45 tactical. Miss me with that, dude. Like, and more on that in a second. But I'm saying, like, I think for the Mark 23, if you can find a holster that fits your use case, maybe you're good. Like, concealing can be hard. Like for big 45 pistols, for example, like that I carry around my ranch. I actually use a holster called the Kenai. Yeah, I think it's pronounced Kenai. The chest holder by Gunfighters Inc. Anyway, I have one of those for my FNX 45 tactical. I've carried that gun actually through multi-day backpacking trips with that chest holster, with a full pack, like 80-pound pack, multiple days. I've had that FNX 45 tactical in that chest holster. Great, perfect, worked really well. Actually, had it in bear country. Did have to draw it. Didn't have to use it. That was scary. But I did have to draw my gun off the chest holster. And that was, again, not cool. Not cool. But everything ended up being okay. But I was really glad I had it. So that rig worked really well. And actually, I just ordered the same holster for the Mark 23 because I was like, here's a dirty little secret about what happens when you have access to a lot of guns. You don't shoot them all the time. And when we were recently picking up 45 again after this Mark 23 program and doing a lot of testing and shooting with like different 45 pistols that we've done actually throughout the years and just like refreshing memories on them. I think the FNX 45 tactical on paper is cool. And I've owned one for years. Like I owned a FNX 45 tactical long before I started Pew Science. And I always thought it was like the specs. Like if you look at a spec sheet, like if you're one of those people who's going to like make a spreadsheet to compare all your decisions here and you put the FNX 45 tactical on paper, like all its specs, you're going to be like, "Oh, this is like I should get this. It's amazing." But shooting it, completely different story. It feels like garbage to me compared to some of these other guns. It has really cool specs. Like it's optic ready, large capacity, looks cool, hammer fired. You're checking all the boxes I like. But man, I think it feels like garbage compared to an HK or like a 1911. I think to shoot it, I don't like it. I think it has a lot of muzzle flip and it kind of pinches you in some of the things. The magazine kind of doesn't actuate the way it should, I think. It's just not, I don't know. That's one of the big questions we got, like about 45 hosts in general and what our favorite one or what my favorite 45 hosts are. And my favorite ones, like right now that I've really loved to shoot have been the HKs and 1911s. More on that to come, but like that's just being honest with you. Now, does that mean like a Glock 21 is not going to be awesome? Like, no, dude, Glock 21 might be awesome, but if you're a Glock person, but I'm not. Last thing, folks were also asking how to mount stuff to the Mark 23 due to its proprietary rail, like the USPs have too. You can get this should be Googleable for you, but I'll just tell you, for the Mark 23, there's only one option that's good. It's the Lobos Industries thing, just LOBOS. You should be able to find that. Lima, Oscar, Bravo, Oscar, Sierra, Lobos Industries. You should be able to find that. That works really well for the Mark 23. That's probably the only rail adapter I would ever buy for that one. The other ones are garbage. And then for the USP, there's this dude, his pseudonym is called Mr. Nine, like not like nine, like the numeral 9, but like nine, like no in German, nine. He makes an adapter for the USP family for the rail. It is a very high quality 7075 aluminum clone of the old Surefire MR09 adapter. So just, I know we're going down a rabbit hole right now, but just Google Mr. 9 USP and you will find what I'm talking about. So if you're a Mark 23 owner, you're going to need the Lobos. If you want to run a Picatinny type lighter laser, and then if you're a USP guy or girl, you're going to need a Mr. 9 adapter. If you want to run a light or laser, and frankly, I actually don't really run stuff on my pistols like that, but doesn't mean I won't. I'm just not. I guess I run one on my carry gun right now, but I'm one of those people who just like believes in having a gun and having a gun all the time. And I'm not like tricking it out. I'm just kind of have the gun how it is, and I have the gun all the time. And that way I can use it if I need to. Maybe I should use a flashlight, but it just sometimes gets in the way. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. If I can think of any more Mark 23 stuff that you have asked, I'll let you know and I'll answer it. If I didn't hit your question, hey man, let me know. I'll cover it. Maybe we should do another listener questions. We haven't done one of those in a while, so maybe we can do that. Okay. All right, cool. I hope that's helpful. Okay, 40 minutes. So we did go a little bit long. That's okay. We spent more on that topic than we did the damn intro to the silencer. Sorry, Inert Haze. We'll give you a time when we do the technical discussion next episode, okay? So enjoy the data, everybody. Be safe, and I will talk with you folks again soon. All right, bye.